Hello friends, welcome to GSR ChemTube channel. Here in this class we are going to see about periodic table chapter. In that, the earlier attempts for the classification of elements. First of all, what is the need for classification of these elements? In the beginning of 18th century, only few elements were known, and hence it was easy to remember the properties of these elements individually. But by the discovery of new elements, which is presently about 118, it is very difficult to remember their properties individually. Thus, it was felt the need of some simple method to simplify and systemize the study of properties of various elements and their compounds. This necessity led to the classification of various elements into groups. So, by the classification of elements into these groups, the following advantages are going to be. So, to study the elements in a systematic manner, to correlate the properties of elements, and to know the type of different compounds that different elements can form. So, let us see the earlier attempts for the classification. Earlier, many attempts were made to classify the elements for better understanding. Now, let us see some of these important. One of them is Lavoisier's classification into metals and nonmetals. By the late 1860s, Lavoisier classified the elements based on the similar physical and chemical properties into metals and nonmetals. So, metals, an element which has the properties like luster, good conductor of heat and electricity, ductile, malleable, solid at room temperature, and has tendency to lose one or more electrons is classified as metal. Nonmetals, an element which has the properties like no luster, bad conductor of heat and electricity, non-ductile, non-malleable, and has a tendency to gain one or more electrons is classified as nonmetal. So, there are some reasons for the relation of these metals and nonmetals classification. Let us see that. One of them is the elements were divided only into two broad categories, which does not help much in the study of elements. That means only two categorizations were there to whole elements known at that time. So this didn't help in understanding the properties of elements in the proper manner. Next disadvantage is there are some elements which have the properties of metals and non-metals. Such elements are known as metalloids. So there is no separate categorization for these metalloids. Examples for these metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium, and astatine. So next, Dobrynin's law of triads or Dobrynin's classification. In 1817, Dobrynin classified the elements into a group of three elements such that the three elements had similar properties, and the atomic mass of the middle element was the arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of first and third elements. The group of such three elements was called as Dobrynin's triad. For example, lithium, sodium, potassium is a Dobrynin's triad. In this, the atomic mass of middle element sodium is equals to the arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of first and last element, they are lithium and potassium. Some other examples for the Dobrynin's triads are chlorine, bromine, iodine is one set, calcium, strontium, barium, and sulfur, selenium, and tellurium. Even there are some disadvantages or drawbacks even in these Dobrynin's triads also. Let us see those. One of the main one is the main drawback of this classification was that the concept was not applicable to all the known elements at the time, but only to a limited number of elements, hence the law was rejected. However, one point became clear that properties of the elements have some relationship with their atomic masses. Next, Newland's law of octaves. John Newlands, an English scientist, in 1866 arranged about 56 elements known at that time in order of increasing atomic masses. According to Newland's law of octaves, When elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses, there is a repetition of properties of every eighth element as compared to the given element. There are seven musical notes according to Indian system. These musical notes are, as we know, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, and ni. In the musical notes, there is a repetition of the same note after a gap of 7. By coincidence, Newland found the same pattern in the arrangement of elements also. These elements placed in the same vertical row, also known as group, have common properties. The elements for example, the elements beryllium, magnesium, calcium are grouped on similar basis and they resemble in their chemical characteristics. But there are some disadvantages in this also. Let us see those. One of them is this law could be best applied only up to the element calcium. Newly discovered element like noble gases couldn't fit into this Newland's law of octaves structure. It failed to exhibit this feature with the heavier elements. So these are the disadvantages or drawbacks of the Newland's classification. Next classification was done by Mendeleev, that we say as Mendeleev's periodic table. Now this was the first and most successful attempt among all the earlier attempts at a classification of elements. In fact, Dmitry Mendeleev is known as the father of the periodic table because the first classification into periodic table was done by Mendeleev. He had noticed a relation between the atomic masses of elements and their physical and chemical properties. He observed that there was a periodic reoccurrence of elements with similar properties. So Mendeleev arranged these elements in a grid that we today known as a periodic table. Mendeleev stated that properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses, and this came to be known as periodic law, that we say as Mendeleev's periodic law. So one of the most successful aspects of this Mendeleev's periodic table was that he was able to predict the unknown elements more or less accurately. He named them as Eka boron, Eka aluminium, Eka silicon. Later to him, Eka boron was named as scandium, Eka aluminium as gallium, and Eka silicon as germanium. So in this way he succeeded to predict the unknown elements too, which were later exactly known. Mendeleev's periodic table simplified the study of elements. It became useful in studying and remembering the properties of a large number of elements in a simple way. So this we can say as Mendeleev's periodic table. He arranged the elements in increasing order of their atomic masses, and he kept the elements which are having same chemical properties in one column. So he called these elements in one column as one group, and the horizontal rows in the periodic table as periods. So he was the first scientist who made a periodic table with all available and known elements at the time. Despite its success, there were still a few shortfalls in the Mendeleev's periodic table. Firstly, he failed to place the hydrogen correctly on his periodic table. Hydrogen exhibits the properties of both alkali metals as well as those of halogens. So, to assign it one position was difficult. Also, isotopes of elements were proving to be a problem. They would occupy multiple positions on the periodic table since all their atomic masses are different from one to other. Instead of the above limitations, Mendeleev's periodic table was the best classification of elements and proved a milestone in the field of chemistry. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.